Hello, hello, and welcome back to Space Engineers on the Xbox on the Series X and a tutorial on something very important. I was talking to someone online and they recently picked up a Series X. And what they didn't realize, because they'd been playing, obviously, their save on one of the older consoles, is that the Series X allows you to push your PCU to 500,000 on retail and 1 million on the beta. But with the beta, and if you've got a Series X, I'm running the retail at the moment, as you can see down in the bottom right hand corner. The version that we're on has retail written next to it. With this console and the beta, or any console in the beta, you can turn off the block limits. I'm hoping that this feature makes its way across to regular Space Engineers at some point, because then that would be brilliant. Because as of now, the retail is always in advance of the beta, apart from that feature. I see a lot of people still saying, oh, but you can't get mods on the retail. I didn't know mods were on the retail. Mods are there. Mods have been in since the community crossplay update. Anyway, this video is all about experimental mode and why you should turn it on, even though it does warn you that it's for advanced players. Why should you turn on experimental mode? Well, let's have a look at my one save over here, my Star System Creative Mod showcase that I tend to use. If we go into this, we press X and then we press Y on advanced, you'll see that we can look at all these lovely settings. I've been through these before, and some important ones to take note. That's new, by the way. Animal NPC limit. That's brand new from a patch or two ago, or an update or two ago even. You'll see max blocks per player and total PCU. Total PCU. This is a Series X, and I am running 100,000 PCU base on a Series X. That's the other thing. What we need to look at then is how can we push that to something we can really get our teeth into. That's easy. Go back out again, back out one last time to the main menu and hit up options. You want to go straight to game, and you want to look here, experimental mode. Now it will warn you once you press A on it. Please confirm this. Yes, you want experimental mode. Do not do anything else except press X after you've pressed A. You will now lock in that setting. That setting is set. If we go back to game, you'll see we're in experimental mode. Now, normally there's a warning that pops up on the right-hand side of the screen, but I've disabled warnings using the two bumpers and the three lines, which you can do in-game. So now we go back to my load game, and I'm just going to set this up how I like it, by editing the settings with X, then pressing Y. You'll also know now, if you press the three lines that says mods there, you'll be able to use mods, because you cannot use mods without experimental mode. It won't let you. And here we are again. And this time, what I want to do actually is slap my day duration to 1 day. So there's a lot more daylight for when I'm doing stuff. And I want to make sure now max blocks per player down to disabled, and total PCU, if you notice, is no longer 100,000. We could push it all the way up to 500,000 on the retail for a Series X. So that's the first reason you want to look into this setting. Press X again, and we'll load up my creative mod showcase. go. It'll take a bit longer to load than normal because I've got some mods running. Monster Kings Star Wars mods are on because I was using the Gemin thrusters from my other mod showcase, which are fantastic. And here we are in my world. So, first things first, some settings that you can look at when it comes to our experimental mode are on hinges and pistons. And we're going to a hinge, the hinge that operates this door, and just look down at the moment. Its torque is 31.6 meganewtons, and the torque setting and the braking torque and things like that could be pushed beyond the limit with experimental mode. You'll see that this will lift up at 31.6 meganewtons quite nicely. But if you'd got a bigger door or something much heavier, you could push your torque into the red like this, and you'll see it doesn't seem to have much effect. But I can tell you now, if that door were made of heavier armor blocks in gravity, that would be harder to lift. So you'd need that torque setting in the red zone to push this door up in gravity further. Obviously, you've seen what happens with various ships and so on if you've got no share inertia tensor on. I don't know if I've actually got a demonstration ship I can show you what happens if you turn share inertia tensor off on a piston. But you've seen enough videos of mine that show drill rigs and things. Share inertia tensor is extremely important when you are trying to stabilize a drill rig. You can definitely take advantage of that using experimental mode. Experimental mode basically just allows you to push things beyond. You'll see if I hold down both bumpers and tap the 3 lines, you'll see my warnings menu and the various things here listed as the game is warning me that there's all sorts of pistons and hinges that are causing potential clang issues. And again, experimental mode is how we get around all that. Being able to push hinges into the red with the torque setting, pistons, and as I said, share inertia tensor, extremely useful. I can quickly just pop over here, bring a few blocks out. Obviously, I'm playing in creative to speed the process up, and I'm building in line mode. Again, if you want to know how to get and change the build mode, make sure you have a block selected like this with the left stick, and then press the right stick and go over to toggle multi-block building, and then press right bumper on what you want to be. So you want single block, you want line, plane, well, we're on line. Make sure it's selected on line, center it, and press RB to confirm it. Then you'll need to reselect your block, and you can just build in creative like this. You can't do that in survival, I'm afraid. It's not going to let you. So, as I was saying, with pistons and drills, you want shear inertia tensor. This is just being done completely freeform. Off the top of my head. Refinery, yeah, put it around. We'll want it. And you want, let's see, play with the new flare tubes. Yeah. I love these because they look so much better when you're doing something. Evolving drills. They have more form and function. You can see, whoops, went past that one there. Oops. Always the way when you're building creative. If you slightly knock the stick, or you've got cats like I have who love to try and jump on your lap while you're doing these things, and I've got 7 cats, so that's 7 chances of chaos when I'm doing something. Still, all good fun. Do we want one more conveyor tube? Let's see. Yeah, why not? I've got enough room now. I'm just going to throw down a piston. And since the update, we've got a slightly different build menu. Things are in slightly different places. You'll see when you put down a piston as well, you can't put it that way around because that's where it extends to. And I'm going to put down an advanced rotor. Not a regular rotor, because you need an advanced rotor if you're doing any kind of drill rig. Your advanced rotor will allow ores and rock and someone to pass through this whole thing. We'll need a power source as well, so we'll slap a battery on that in a minute. And then what we want now are some drills. Judge this right, you'll notice. However, we can't build there, so what I'm going to have to do is probably just hand drill this bit out here, just to give us enough room. I'm using the left trigger on the drill, which will clear a much larger area out. We just want enough room to drop our drill down. And if you're anything like me, the hand drill is one of my favourite things to use. I love drilling in this game. I actually find it quite zen, quite therapeutic. There we go. So we've got our drill there and our rotor. And if we want, we can slap on another bunch of drills. Just like so. Let's quick save. Again, quick save, both bumpers on X. So we've got our little rig here, our refinery, and we're going to pop down a way of controlling all this to make it easier on ourselves. And then our power source. Actually, you know what? Since we're playing in creative, why don't we just throw down one of these cute small warfare reactors, because I really do like those. Okay, so at the moment we have one piston, one rotor, and some drills. So we're going to need to control this for this demonstration. What we want then is we want to jump into here and we want to press our inventory button and tap the right trigger Or we can hold both bumpers and tap the inventory button to go straight to this. You'll see we have some drills. Press A on the first drill, hold down the right bumper, and then just keep moving the D-pad down and tapping A. Or you can watch one of my videos on how to control panel group things using all the various methods. This is just how I like to do it so that I don't accidentally add something I don't want to add. And we're just going to call this drills. And now we've got that. We've got a piston there. Well, that's fine. And we've got an advanced rotor here. Again, that's fine. None of them, at this point in time, have shear inertia tensor on. So we hold down the direction up on the D-pad, and we go to groups with the right bumper, and we select our drills, and we select toggle on off. Now you'll see that our drill rig is shaking. That's minor clang, but it's still clang nonetheless. And we want our piston. So we can just go straight to this piston, and we want to hit reverse. So we can control it. And then the same deal. Now this rotor will be spinning quite quickly. So we find our advanced rotor, toggle it on and off, and you'll see it's going to spin. So if we look in the control panel, we look at the advanced rotor, you'll see that it's running without any power on. So if we push this up to about 1 RPM, it's going to try and do its thing. Hold on, let's turn it back on. There we go. It's working on that. That's slow. You want to do about 1 RPM on a rotor. If you take it any higher, it will get worse in terms of the clang. Plus, you will drill really quickly if you're rotating like this. So at 1 RPM, you can actually set up a timer block to drop the drill down every one rotation, every 60 seconds. You can set your timer block to extend that drill via the piston. I've got videos on that. You can find them on the channel. This is basically now set up so we can turn the rotor on and off. We can extend the piston. And you'll see it's wobbling quite nicely. The more drills you have and the more parts like this can cause issues. And the reason we want experimental mode is so that we can go to our piston and pop on shear inertia tensor. The moment we do that on the piston and on the rotor, now you see no shake. Whatsoever. And again, that piston is going down a bit fast, but it's only a demonstration. You can change that to its slowest speed. Or, as I said, you can pop a timer block on the whole system and have that piston extend every 60 seconds, every rotation. It's probably easier than trying to measure it with a sensor And also, if you've got several pistons all attached, say like 5 or 6, so you can do some really deep drilling, after a while the sensor field won't interact with the rig, but with a timer block it's always running until you turn it off, so it will always be going down and down and down. That is why we put shear inertia tensor on and why we use experimental mode. There's lots of little settings that experimental mode does, like I said, the torque, mods, and the most important, shear inertia tensor. And it's not just great for drill rigs, it's also absolutely excellent, there's the wobbling again, look, for preventing phantom forces from affecting your grid if you're using piston or rotor driven doors and or landing gear on a ship. You can find that clang/phantom forces does affect things like that quite badly. At one point I was building an atmospheric APC style ship, and I'd got some piston driven landing gear on it, and when it was in the air, because I hadn't got shear inertia tensor set, it was tilting every so often to the right, and eventually it would end up crashing into the ground because it would just constantly tilt over until you put shear inertia tensor on those pistons, and at that point it stopped. But you can get some really weird things going on. This is why I advocate experimental mode all the time. It's very useful, and if you're playing with mods, you've got no choice. But that is my little video on experimental mode 101. Why you need it set, what it can do. Look online and you'll see some explanations of experimental mode. I will drop a link to one of them in the very description of this video, and there you have it. I'm going to be looking potentially at building a small grid welding ship, because I've had a few people ask about how to sort of build one / pipe one up, and I thought, well, I've not done that yet on the channel, and it could be something to do as part of DWolfie1 Plays Space Engineers, since I've already done small grid and large grid ship building tutorials. You can find those on the channel as well if you are new. And there you go. That's all for me for now. I will be off this weekend to a convention, so I will try and do a video before that and set it scheduled on the Sunday to premiere. That's really it. Until then, stay safe, take care, have fun, enjoy the game. As I always say, there's a lot more to come. Don't think that Keen are sitting idly by. There are things going on behind the scenes all the time. Game development is a constant thing. Bye for now.